inside the stream yard, Michelle, and just talk, and I'll do my best to respond. And so Michelle can't type yet. We're still learning. So the sequins and ribbon foot, pearls and piping, and Satinedge Foot were all used to make this little Barbie skirt. And this is my daughter's project. She and her girlfriend were bored, and they're not, kids weren't allowed to say they were bored. She was 8. And I said, all right, you guys are going to make Barbie skirts. And it took them about a half hour to pick out all the trims, but only like a very short, actually it took them like an hour to pick the trims and a half hour to make their skirts. And I ended up taking her Barbie on the road with me. And so every time I would say, Jen, you want to sew? She goes, no, you're just going to take anything I make on the road with you. And her girlfriend, her mother took it and put it on a mantle, and she had one of those glass domes with a wooden thing, and so she never got her dress either. We ruined their desire for sewing. I'm going to switch to the closed camera and kind of give you a good look at this.
Judy had said no about she's not ready for Christmas.
Oh, not ready for Christmas.
And Tina says sound is good now.
Yay! Well, now I know what to do. Now you know why people always wear these silly headphones, but I have hair to hide it, so. And I can hear myself twice. That's crazy sounding. All right, no more whining.
Susan says she's teaching a friend's daughter how to make a small quilt for Christmas. Susan.
Oh, how nice. How young is she? Someone said poor kid.
That was Tina.
Are you calling me a kid?
That's Tina. I
like being called a kid.
I filled her orders. And Charity says, still here sewing. Hee 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 hee.
You're sewing while we're on live? That's cool. Be nice to do a sew along, but you guys would lose your minds. Try to keep up with me, especially when I go really fast. Okay.
And Tina also said, poor kids.
Poor kids. It's because you're teaching them?
Because they never got to play with their Barbies.
Oh, see, I already forgot what I said. And I'm even holding it. Oh, it's going to go close.
And she said, poor kid, your daughter.
My daughter, yeah. But you know what? This is very exciting news. She keeps going, is that sewing machine you promised me ready? Because she's going to be coming. She lives in Colorado part of the year and part of the year in Prescott. And this year, she's going to learn how to sew. And she wants to start a YouTube channel. So you guys are going to get to learn and meet my daughter. She's no longer going to be hiding. I'll let you know when she does.
Marcia says, yes, I made pillowcases, rope bowls, and blankets for my great-grandkids. Just finished last night. Oh, wrapped today.
Our pearls and piping foot works great on those bowls. So the clothesline bowls and pillowcases are so much fun to make. So here's the Barbie. And this has literally been on the road for, well, my daughter is 32. Well, she'll be 32 in January. She's as old as my company. I was 6 months pregnant when I launched my company. So this has seen thousands of hands, lots of little girls at shows that picked it up. Yeah, pearls on the edge. The satin edge was used to create the hemline, and then I put pearls on after that. Oh, I didn't. They did. The girls did. It's so sweet. All right. So this is Jen's, and she chose all these different trims. These are the sequins and ribbon foot trims that she sewed. And you can see it's just like this one. That one is the green version of that. These are trims that you can get at Joann's and Hobby Lobby. And during the holidays, they tend to have cheap little put-ups of them, which would mean a smaller spool. This is a larger version. So not all trims are the same size, are they? If you wanted to sew this one, Where's the yarn? There it is. Or you want to sew yarn, that's what the accessory guides offer you, are different sizes. I'll try not to put too noise on this. So the package comes like this, with an instruction booklet inside. And these are the attachments for the sequin and ribbon foot. If you get the sequin and ribbon foot by itself, and remember, this is today's giveaway, and we do have a sale going on right now. And remember, this was filmed on December 10th, 2020. We are almost done with 2020. Can I get a thumbs up? Oh, that's right, I'm not on that camera.
We saw part of
Can I
it.
get a thumbs up? Oh my goodness, I've never been so excited to have New Year's coming.
I think everyone's looking for the new year.
Yeah. And you were being quiet for me before, now don't.
Oh, okay.
Because you've already come through, so I'm sure Michelle has one of the best voices ever. So you get these little instruction booklets that give you the step-by-step instructions on how to first attach it to the foot. So you learn how to do that. And so in essence, this foot is like 4 different feet with 5 different opening options.
Tina and Pro, I give you a thumbs up.
I forgot why.
The giveaway?
Today. I can't remember to the show. That's okay. I said thumbs up. Oh, about 2020. So
Oh,
goodbye.
yeah.
That's what it was.
I think everyone's
The
done
more
with
you
it.
interact, oh, by the way, in order to win this prize, you have to share this right now on whatever thing or platform you're watching on. Hi, Rosalind. Temecula. I love Temecula. It's a nice place, nice area. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take this guide off and replace it with the smaller one because I'm going to sew some yarn. But if I sew this yarn, just one of the really big areas. So this is a really fun yarn because it changes size. So it gets really bulky. As long as it doesn't get really, really bulky, then I can use this guide. Otherwise, if it gets really big, however thick it is, you use the bigger guide if the yarn fills the entire opening. If not, then I'm gonna go ahead and use the second opening. If you take a yarn and you look at it and it looks like it's too big, don't go by that. Take it in your fingers and squish and roll it. And if as it squishes, that's its true size. So you want to make sure you put it in the smallest possible opening. If you do that, then you can drive around on the surface of fabric and your trim is locked underneath the needle. So you can't mess up. That means you can write and applique with yarn.
Okay, Pro says I have the whole set, but have to admit that I have been lazy using them. But I am watching my DVD on all of the uses.
Yes, I do have an instructional DVD and a book, and it does help if you open them up. So this is the guide to see how it's like floppy. And this little clear post is what's going to stop it from flopping around once it reaches the gold channel on the white guide. So I kind of hold my hand like this and you just keep turning it until it goes in there. And that means you have all of this range of adjustment to get the needle lined up with the trim. And instead of having to move the needle, you move the guide. And that makes it work on all sewing machines. You betcha. because it's no fun to be left out of the fun. And I have the Invisible 100 weight thread on my machine right now. It's a very, very fine thread. The reason I do is because it's already on the machine. And we were running late today. Because we had more technical challenges. I can't wait till we're a pro. I think next week's going to be better. And I am going to start making this like a show. So there'll be we won't be 15 minutes on can you hear me, can you hear me? It'll be 15 minutes of me kind of sewing, and then we're going to have a segment called Fabrically Speaking, and I'm going to start answering all of the questions that you guys ask and addressing the number one question in Create with Clare Rowley, which is, what is your biggest sewing challenge? And I'm going to tackle one each week, helping you guys get better at sewing. So with this foot, as you sew, you're looking at the front of the foot, and all of the creative feet, by the way. You look at the front of the foot. Michelle, say hi while I adjust this.
Hi, everybody. Happy holidays. I don't know what that...
Nothing like being put on the spot.
Yeah. I just hope everyone's doing well, and I hope everybody gets through this year, and I'm definitely looking forward to 2021, and I am done with 2020.
So I'm taking her off. Poor thing. Okay, so now you can see better. So if I wanted to follow a line, this is one of the friction pins. A lot of people mispronounce it. The actual company came to visit, and they said it's friction because when you draw, you can erase using friction. And this is actually not like an eraser. It just like creates heat. And as you erase, it erases, but there's still like a little bit of the chemical behind. So if you were to write a pattern that you want to follow on your fabric, afterward you can iron it away. If you put it in the refrigerator afterward, which sounds weird, but it's really kind of nice. I quilted, it's not showing till time, I don't know where it is. I quilted something and I did a bunch of feathers, and then I ironed fusible batting on it, and then I ironed away all my lines. So then I took my quilt and put it in the freezer, and all the lines came back. After you wash it, the lines never come back. It's awesome. These are really, really handy. Okay. I gotta get that yarn.
Do you sell the pins?
We should have them on our site. We're building our site. Constantly working on it. We do have the pins, yes. So you can ask about them if you want to call. I'm going to get them up now that we fixed something, so I can do things on my own. We're building a whole nother website, you guys. Things are going to get super exciting in 2021. That is the next year, right? I keep messing up saying the wrong thing.
No, you got it.
All right, I can't get that through that hole, can I? So what do I do, or what do I do? Take a piece of thread, lay it down, lay the yarn over it, pick up the thread. Oh, also we're going to start having the show only last an hour. Let's see how good we do today. I'm feeling we're going to run late. But you guys aren't asking many questions. Last thing I had come through was 217. Do any of you have any questions for me? Don't be shy. So you can take this. The yarn is just laying over the thread, and then you grab the two ends and you can feed them right through, and then pull it through like that. And now it's trapped. And it's like a blind and deaf person, and you're driving them around in the car. And if you're driving and you suddenly turn one direction, the person in your car will like fall over to the side. So that kind of happens with the yarn too, because you can't talk to it. You can't go, I'm going to turn right, come with me. It'll just sit there and go that way. So that's why you want to put it through the smallest possible opening of the foot. And the only reason I didn't choose that is because there's areas where this gets thicker than the small hole. Yay, somebody typed something. I'm sitting here sewing. You guys could be typing. What did she say?
Oh, are you going to be doing the technique like couching?
This is couching. So is sewing beads down. So the term couching is actually the act of sewing something down on fabric. Cool thing, huh? So you go to the yarn store now, and even if you're not a knitter, all the yarn is now your toy, your decorative item. And remember, the sequins and ribbon foot can sew all sizes and styles of yarn and trims, not just yarn.
Says, "Oh wow, that was easy! Yay!"
And you finish
the
edge of the fabric. And if you've ever sewn rickrack, that's not rickrack. What is that? What is that? All right, that's another thing I'm going to do. I'm going to do something, and you guys have to type. What is that called? Type it in the comment. What is it? I know what it is now. It came to me. If you've ever tried to sew this, it is so hard to keep your needle right in the middle. There's 2 bumps on that. So with the sequin ribbon foot, you can zoom, zoom, zoom and spin around. And also, you can use a double needle on small ribbon. And sew both sides of the ribbon down at once. And you can also sew ribbon around in designs, which is normally impossible. But anything is possible with a creative feat. Yay! And that was called Satinedge braid. Not one of you typed.
No one commented or responded.
Chickens. They're afraid to say the wrong thing. Or you may not be exposed to all these trims. I'm selecting a stitch. And there's one that's called the couching stitch.
Sammy Blankenship says, hello.
Hi, Sammy. Thanks for joining us today. I know the school's going to be so mad at me because I did not go in there and go, we're going live. But I did tell them every Thursday at 2.
Susan Vetter never saw that trim.
Which trim?
The one you were pointing to?
Oh, you've never seen Satinedge braid. See that black and white?
Mm-hmm.
It's not black and white. It's
looks silver.
Black, that. Thank you.
Like silver. Yeah, black and white.
Yeah,
from one angle, it looks black and white.
This is a really cool one. But this is also Satinedge braid. So it has a bump on one side and another bump, and there's a channel in the middle, and you're supposed to keep your needle right in that. And but I did promise I would make a purse, so I just thought I'd start by, because it's, you know, I can choose how long I play with you guys today. Hi, Susan. This stitch is slow. It takes forever. That's what you see here. And on this one, I used a really bulky yarn. See how it gets puffy? So if you've ever wanted to sew yarn that goes puffy and then gets smaller and then it goes puffy again, the sequin ribbon could allow me to do that. And this is the couching stitch. So instead of that, I'm going to switch to a faster one. A faster stitch to sew with, that is. And that would be your 3-step zigzag. And why I'm using that is it does a stitch, 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 instead of a zig, zig, zag. Because if you have a zigzag stitch, it shows more. Stitch, 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 it kind of hides. And I'm using a colored thread.
Susan says it looks hard with a plain foot.
Oh, it's very hard with a regular foot. So with this, and I can increase my stitch length. The longer the length, the faster it sets. So people think when I use this that the feed dogs are down, but they're not. And because of that, your stitch quality is better than a free motion version of a couching foot.
So
Remember, couching feet that are free motion are not capable of doing all sizes. So you see my hands are way out here. I'll switch cameras so you can see. We didn't get to eat before we went live. My stomach just growled. I hope you guys didn't hear that.
I would say I didn't hear it, but I don't hear it very well.
It sounded really loud to me. So normally people sew like this. Get them out of the way. With elbows up and leaning down and holding on to the trim and then holding the fabric and trying to steer. That's challenging for anyone. I want to make sure you have slack, nothing is stuck on it, and then just drop it. With any other free motion foot, your hands are the feed dogs, and the trim, if you move your hand too fast, the trim falls away from the needle. So a lot of people don't get the results they would like from a free motion foot.
Judy's asking, do you use the same foot with larger yarn?
Yes, that's what the accessory guides are for. They make it so you can go bigger. So this is the largest one, which is 5/8. And if you have a big, round, bulky yarn, like this one, and this one is, I can't wait to do something fun with it. But this one I might use our pearls and piping foot for. So the way you figure out which foot to use is if you take yarn and you squish it and it goes flat, then you can use our sequins and ribbon foot. And it surrounds the trim so that it can't slip out. The pearls and piping foot have a tunnel. So if you have a round trim that you cannot push and make flat, then you use the pearls and piping foot. And you can always just ask me if you don't want to turn on the video.
And then Pearl's asking, is there another name for a couching stitch?
You know, any stitch that does a lot of small stitches and moves side to side in a forward moving motion can be used for couching.
She was
you
asking
can
if
use
there
a
was another
straight
name.
stitch.
She was asking if there was another name for couch stitching.
This sewing machine is a Baby Lock Crescendo, and this company calls that stitch the couching stitch. So they named it that. There is not a particular stitch for couching. So I'm just going to do a little bit of this, and then I'm going to move on to the purse.
And you
Because
just,
I know I told everyone you're going to learn how to make a purse, but you can see this is how you move with this. You just steer like that, and the trim cannot escape the needle. That's just I didn't cut my tail. Bad habit of mine. That was a long tail too.
Judith says thanks for explaining the yarn
You're
sizes.
welcome. This is really fun. This is 2 rickracks laced together, and I call that twisted rickrack. So you take a rickrack and another rickrack, and they nest inside of each other. It's really cool when you get silver and red for Christmas. You have like a candy cane. It's really fun. It's a fun foot, and I don't give it enough attention. So that's why I thought I'd play a little bit before showing you the first. Ooh, the scissors being set down are pretty loud. Is anybody else hungry? Besides poor Michelle.
No.
You didn't need either.
Well, your feet fit a Janome MC 1200.
Oh, so yes, that's one of the questions we get.
And
We
she
have a
also
9mm wide machine, and it has a 9mm wide zigzag stitch, but it also has a bar that's 9mm wide. So there's understanding the difference between those two will help you to know why a lot of people don't know how to answer you that question. So if you have a 9mm snap-on bar, it's because you have an even feed mechanism, which replaces a walking foot. And you disengage that, take your snap-on adapter off, and you will use our B adapter that comes with the foot. Just think B is best. And that's true of all of the Janome machines that have the 9mm. Doesn't matter what model number.
her name is Sweetie. Sweetie Pie is her username.
Sweetie
I
Pie.
mean, and then she also said she would love to have these feet.
Well, you can get them.
So
and today is a giveaway of this foot with the accessory guide set. And as I mentioned before, if you already have this foot, you can take that gift and give it to one of your friends, or you can negotiate with me to get other items on our site for the same value. You have to share. You have to actually have shared this video. And as many likes and thumbs ups and activity that you do in Facebook helps bring us up in the algorithm so we get more audience, and then we want to give you more goodies. If you have a Fox sewing machine and you have a 9mm wide bar, you're going to take and use the smallest adapter and put our foot on, or put the adapter on the foot. And then disengage your walking foot or even feet and remove your snap-on adapter. And so when I invented the snap-on adapter, because I did invent the one-piece snap-on adapter on accident one day, it made it so we could have one foot fit all machines. Another reason our foot fits all machine is because of our zigzag opening. I'm going to go close camera so you guys can understand.
in the meantime, Pearl's asking, she says, okay, my older brother machine doesn't have a stitch called couching.
Right, use a 3-step zigzag or tricot stitch or multiple zigzag stitch. And I kind of described it, but I'll draw it here so you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, Susan says she uses the zigzag stitch for couching on her brother machine.
So if you use if you have your trim and use a zigzag stitch, a lot of that stitch shows. But if you use a 3-step zigzag, it does little stitches and moves side to side. So it shows up less on the fabric, and your trim, in essence, then shows up more. But you can also use invisible thread, and we have it on our website. Smoke is for medium to dark colors, and clear is for light and pastel. So let me see.
Is this right here?
I have a clear, but it's closed. Here's my bobbin. And it winds on a bobbin, and it's 100% nylon. And it's what I use to sew the sequins on this bridle purse. And this is a bridle. This is what I use for my daughter's wedding. It has a satin lining and a invisible zipper. So this is a great video to watch on my YouTube channel. And I offer this pattern at creativefeet.com under the patterns link. It's fabulous. My daughter had 11 bridesmaids. 11. And all I could think of was 11 cell phone purses, or cell phones, like laying around. And girls going, where's my phone? I don't know. Where's it? That's my phone. Oh, no, that's not my phone. And then they missed a picture, you know. So they all got they got some lipstick inside of their little cell phone purse, and it was very sweet. It's a great memory for all of them. And, you know, they can use that purse still. So how do you know which color of the invisible thread to use on your fabric? I don't know how good you can see this. But you put your thread over your fabric, and whichever color you see reflecting in the light is the one you don't want. And almost always clear is what you do not want. And a lot of people don't know that, and they see the clear thread on the fabric because you should use smoke. So you need them both. Just buy everything at creativeheat.com. Go there and go, I want this, that. Put it all in your cart. And then you'll be so happy. And so will I.
So
It'll
Judy,
be a Merry Christmas.
so Judy says she doesn't have a share on YouTube. And then
Right, I understand that. So just we can see how much you
typed respond.
behave. Yeah, they have different things you can click. And I don't know if you can do a super chat on there at all. We're trying to figure out how to do that. We do have super chat set up, but I don't know if it works within StreamYard. So if any of you have done a super chat, know that we appreciate that. That helps us buy, like, Michelle needs a new computer for this, for sure. She really does that. So all this stuff costs money. Cameras, proper mics, getting things set up. And our time. And then we love hanging out with you.
Pearl did say thank you for responding to her, and then she also says that's beautiful. I'm guessing it was the purse.
Okay, so this is one part of the purse. And originally I designed it with just one fabric. But then it dawned on me, well, if there are two pieces, then we may as well do two different colors. And I'm probably going to give this to my friend Terry for her son's wedding. Because she has to wear purple. Which she just hates because it's her favorite color.
Susan says that she says, I think you should, I think you said before that you can iron over the invisible thread if needed.
Yes, you can. You can use highest temperature heat. I can't really move my setup around here, but I have shown that on videos before. All the nylon threads, they melt at 500 degree temperature. Cotton burns at 250. In order to melt the thread, you have to ignite your fabric on fire. And I can't read anything, so if anything's coming through,
oh, okay.
You'll have to tell me.
All right, Rosalind, I have the Solaris with the new attachment for couching, but haven't used it yet. If your attachment's easier to use.
They probably have the free motion one. And it seems like a great idea, but there's a reason I don't have a free motion couching kit. Because we're just not good at being the feedbacks. I had this stitched already, but I thought I should stitch it again so you guys can see. And I don't want to make you wait while I pull those threads out. How do you get your zipper to stay in place so that it doesn't move as you're sewing it? That's what our liquid based glue does for you. But before you sew the zipper, and I have a pattern for this. It's a free pattern, and you can get it at create.clarerowley.com. Can you type that in the Facebook?
I don't think they're seeing
you can't type it all.
In the Facebook, I can type it. I don't think anyone's responding. I mean, I don't see any responses on there.
I know you can't. We'll figure this out eventually. I'll watch a lot of tutorials. Problem is, we just have so many orders coming in that we didn't have time to work on tech stuff this week. We didn't want you guys not to get what you needed to make Christmas presents. So this is where you can get the free pattern.
Let me see if I get your comment. While you're doing that, Sweetie Pie says, oh, okay, the bee foot grate, which I don't understand what that meant. Then she made a comment.
The bee adapter attached to our creative foot, whichever one of the 3 feet. And this is the foot itself. And then inside of your package, you get 4 adapters.
May I interrupt? She had also, I had gotten the pearls and piping and the sequencing ribbon, and I just found my bead attachment, so I can now use it on my Janome. And thank you so much. And I love using them with my singer.
Good, good. So now we have these 4 adapters, and even though I named them Singer Slant, Super Hyper Kenmore, some sewing machines will use this one, even if they're not a Kenmore. So what you do is you take your foot off your machine with the ankle attached to it, and then you compare our foot with how high that one is. And that's how you determine it. And you want to make sure the needle goes inside of the opening. See how big that opening is? That's one of the things I engineered into each of the creative feet, is a larger than average opening. So I barely ever use sewing machine company's foot. So you can see how small the zigzag opening is, and see how gigantic ours is. So that is partly why you can use our feet on all machines. I'm not going to tell all my secrets, because sewing machine companies have been copying me for years. Know that the creative feet, I've been doing this for 32 years.
And it says a Facebook user is all it says. It says just came to Facebook to give feedback that I could not do using YouTube, the YouTube link from Mighty Networks. The Echo has not returned. The view.
That's because the Michelle. Because I did not post in the Mighty Networks today. So if you clicked on the link, it was for last week. And I'm really sorry. I'm sure I'm going to get yelled at by the students.
And she's also saying the Echo has not returned. The view is fabulous.
And I'm aware.
The view is fabulous, and I'm having a good time despite being quiet.
Thank
Francine
you.
Jacobson. It's Francine.
Oh, hi, Francine. Oh, I figured it was her.
It just says.
She writes a lot. She likes to write. We both like to write. Okay, so isn't that a pretty trim? And this is the fabric that goes with this. And do you think that goes well? Thumbs up. I'm going to insert this into the guide. Does it fit in that one, or should it go in this one? Looks like that one is a better fit. So once again, we remove the adapter. The guide. Who made this foot? Actually invented this foot for a fashion designer. She wanted to be able to sew over rows of sequins and then spin around. And she had paid like $350 for an adapter, and it didn't work. It broke the sequins, folded them over, and snapped them off. So when I made this foot, I was actually soldering and machining, using acrylic and forming the circular shape. And this is my most expensive mold. So, yeah, patented product, guaranteed for life. Even if your dog chews it up, as long as he spits it out, we give you a new foot.
And the husband burns them.
Or, oh yeah, we did have a husband.
I remember that.
On the stove. The gentleman, I'm going to go on the camera for a second. I'm so glad we figured it out that I just need to use my headphones. Now I know why people use headphones.
And Pearl says yes. Pearl said yes. I have used them on my Kenmore too. So she's doing them all. And Francine says she's watching this week on her phone.
I'm using my phone, a computer, and then Michelle, and 2 cameras. It's a little bit intense because I don't want you guys to be disappointed. I'm glad that you're looking on your phone, but that means you can't really participate as much. Oh, that's right. We're not in Zoom. So now that we do Zoom chats, inside of the school. So if you want to be a part of that, come on with your camera and get to know the other students. We're going to start doing, Francine suggested, like a Tuesday recap of Thursday's show to answer any questions that I may not have addressed, and because it's fun. So I can't be live all the time because, you know, I got to do hair and makeup and just, otherwise I probably would be. I love it. Because I miss you guys at shows. So you see this trim is locked inside of the foot. So I don't have to worry about losing my position beneath it. Let's switch back to the small can. I forgot why I went wide. All right. So see how that is? And no matter where you position your hand, side to side or up and down, it holds it in place. And another patented feature of this foot is that it actually pushes the trim down. So when you sew with a double needle, it doesn't lift up with the needle. Have any of you ever tried sewing trim? This is when you do thumbs up. And have the needle lift up the trim. And did you know that you can use this foot for all sizes of elastic as well? I was thinking about teaching next week how to make a gift holiday bowl cover. So like you have a casserole dish and it's like a little pretty fabric cover that you snap over the bowl. So when you bring your food, you can also bring a gift, and that's the gift. They get to keep the cover for the bowl. Or you can keep it for yourself. You might not want to give up on it. So I'm going to position this is where my zipper is going to be, and the flap comes down. And remember, there's a pattern, so it's much easier to follow with the pattern, and then you can watch this video afterward. This is where I want to place the trim. The trim will go across here. It's also going to be the strap. Isn't that snazzy? And you'll probably wonder where I got this, and I have no idea. Any store I go to, if I see a trim I like, I buy it. You might find this type of stuff in the upholstery department of your fabric store. Look for trims when you search online. The term is trim, T-R-I-M. Trim, and there's another term. Oh well. So basically, it's important to know where to sew that, and you can mark it with a friction pin, so you know that's the side of this fabric. Because when you go to sew it, you're going to open it all up, and now it's all in pieces. And now I look for the line, and I go, okay, that's where I want this trim to be. Then we want to leave about a ½ inch protruding out. It'll go in the seam line. So, I'm having fun. Are you guys having fun? Hi, everyone on YouTube. I'm so excited to be able to go live on YouTube easier. And eventually we'll be on Instagram as well. My daughter pushed me this morning. You need to get on Instagram too. One thing at a time. I'm going to use a regular zigzag stitch. I should use a double needle. And now I want to, but I don't know. You guys want to wait for me to thread a double needle. I just have to find one. Let's see. Of course I should show.
Susan says yes. Fun.
Please show us how to use a double needle. They're a little intimidating, aren't they? Thumbs up if they are intimidating. So sorry if you're hearing all this noise. I'm in my secret drawer where I have my bragging box. It's all my needles. Don't you wish you had these? Sorry. We have all these needles at creativefeet.com. And you have me to help you pick out the right one. So double needles require 2 threads at the same time. And they're split apart from each other. And they have a single shaft that goes up inside. And then they separate from center. So when you get a double needle, you have to be able to use that spacing. And that's determined by the size of your machines.
Pearl says, very intimidating.
It's kind of scary, I know. Just remember, straight stitch, center needle position. And you can't move the needle without it hitting the throat plate. So that's what's so cool about the sequence and ribbon foot, being able to adjust to bring the trim to the needles. So there's a needle that's a 6.0, and you have to at least have a 7 millimeter wide zigzag to use that. Just remember, 1 millimeter wider than the spacing. The Singer slant sewing machine can only use 3 as the widest. 3-millimeter spacing between the 2 needles. So it's not the 2 needles, it's the eye of the needle. So the needles are actually bigger than 4 millimeters. This is a 4 millimeter needle. It's 4 millimeter from the center of the eye, not the outside of the actual needle. Just remember everything I say and you'll be fine. Or you can join my school, buy my book and video, and only learn about the needle when you actually are using it. And then forget. So this is the packet needle that goes with this needle. So that I don't forget, I have this gooey stuff, and this is poster tack. It's kind of like Play-Doh, but it's not Play-Doh. Right? Play-Doh's the one that, or is Play-Doh the one that dries up? This is more like silly putty.
Oh, yeah.
And you can squish it. And this is awesome for like anytime you need to like hold something. So if you have trouble with vision and you need to thread your needle off of the machine, because you may not be aware that you can do that, you can thread your needle and then put it in the machine. If you have trouble seeing to thread your needle, you cannot use a needle threader with a double needle. Anyone, none of you, no matter how much money you put on your machine. So if you have trouble seeing, you can thread it off the machine and use this to kind of hold the needle for you so that you can see better.
Tina hasn't tried a double needle yet.
Well, time to try. And now you can put something white behind the needle, and that makes it so you can see the eye of the needle better. Can't see the eye? Now you can see the eye. Can't see it? Peekaboo. All right, I'm going to get another color thread. And this is why I have, and I'm going to go wide. Okay. So can you make a mental note or send me an email? Never use the mic on the computer. Always use headphones. So much. I'm so relaxed now. It's working. Live and learn. And I'll tell you what, I'm not the only educator that struggled in the beginning. And it's different when you sew and then talk. If I just talk, I've been set up for that for a long time. But in the sewing room, it's a completely different thing. Not making any excuses.
Never use the mic while filming?
Yes. Use headphones. And I really should use the ones that you're fine. These work. And another set. This is my thread dispenser. And we're making them as we go right now. So we will be selling out again soon before we do the run. But this is a dual cone stand feature. And that makes it so that I can feed 2 threads to the tension with no tension on the thread at all until it reaches the tension assembly. And the right way to do this is to take both threads at the same time. This is the invisible thread. It's got a high static length, like follows you around the room. If you get our thread dispenser and you own a cat, make sure you always cut your thread when you leave the sewing room, because the thread comes from the stand to the sewing machine. I have all these things here. This is when I wish I had a little fairy. Can you do that so I don't have to stand up on camera?
You got it?
I'm not saying that you are. I'm not.
I could be the little fairy.
You can't be all things to me. So I have both threads, and I grab them both at the same time. This is key, because if you thread one, and then you thread the other, as it goes through the machine, one thread grabs the other, and they can tangle up inside of the inner working of your machine. I'm going to take both threads through one of the guides on the top of my machine and keep holding them together so they can't slip, and then continue threading. So it was good to show the double needle. This is the last place. So you have your needle, and there's a little thing that wraps around, and you put your thread back there. A lot of machines have another one over here, and it's for double needlework. So you need to separate them right before the eye of the needle. The last step. If you don't have another one hiding over here, because the newer machines, they'd stop giving it to you. So if you got an older machine, hey, you probably got that bonus guide. So just don't go through the guide with one thread and take the other one through the guide. And it doesn't matter left or right, which thread.
Okay, Susan says she has a white on the post behind the needle to make it easier for her to thread.
Yes, that's good. And not only that, a lot of the sewing machine companies paint their snap-on adapters white so that you have that. You can take nail polish, white nail polish, and paint your silver snap-on adapter if yours is not white. And that's why it's white, if it is white, because I'm not the only one who knows that.
And Pearl, she says that what she loves about, she loves, I'm sorry, excuse me, sorry, let me start over. That's what I love about your manual, that it got with them, because it guides you through all of this. And she says, and oh wow.
It's designed in a step-by-step, mind-numbing. There was a lady in the East Coast somewhere when I published my book, and she sent it back, and because she read it. And I really don't recommend you read it. I recommend you use it. It's like a cookbook. If you read a cookbook from cover to cover, you'd probably get a little bored. You'd want to cook it. So if you read my book from cover to cover, which people still do, despite me saying that to you, because you guys do whatever you want. I forgot what I'm saying, because I can hear myself after I talk. I will get better at this. It reminds me of going on Home Shopping Network, and they would talk in my ear. Look at camera 6, and I'd go like that. Look at 10, and there were these cameras everywhere and lights everywhere. She special time.
Yeah, she was just saying how it was great that you have all the setups and stuff in the.
So you do not have to remember anything. Yay! That's what it's all about. So remember, this is that silly putty stuff. You stick it on the side of your machine, and the needle that you're using at that time, put your pack there, and then you won't ever forget what needle is in your machine.
Yeah, she loves the thread dispenser when you're showing it. She says, she says, wow, I love that. I need that. That's for
yeah. And so we just made them. They're gone. It doesn't mean you can't order it. Order it. But eventually we have parts that are out and we have to run it again. And it snows in Arizona. See, I can't see very well. And I'm going to thread my needle in my hand, so it doesn't take me as long. Okay. Always lick before you cut. These are the little hints I can give you. Never cut and then lick, because then you can pull a thread out. And you can use beeswax to make your thread more stiff. I have an astigmatism, and I also have trifocals somewhere. And I should wear them when I'm sewing. But I don't think I can see the camera or the screen. I don't know. I'll have to try it out. I don't know where they are though. If any of you know me, you know that I frequently can't find my glasses. Do any of you have trouble finding your glasses? Do you know what my son told me to do? He said, I see old ladies all the time with their glasses hanging on their shirts. Do that. Little brat. Except for he's 6 foot. I look up at him and go, stop that. Okay, this is me rambling. I didn't get enough sleep last night. My puppy, Tinkerbell, wasn't feeling well. There we go. So now I got both threads threaded through the double needle. I'm going to switch cameras so you can see. I hope you guys are having fun. There we go. So we have the double needle, and I threaded both threads in my hand. Because I do have a large following of those with visual challenges, having invented my Satinedge Foot for a blind and deaf sewer. Pull from behind the needle, not in the front. I unthreaded one. So that's me pretending to be upset. They're the ones who have to suffer. This is why I don't use a double needle at shows anymore. Another thing that might help you is to hold your fingers like this, so you can control the thread better if you have shaky hands. Everything's so reflective, and I have lights everywhere. There we go. So now I have one thread going behind the little guide and the other thread going through the eye directly. And that's all you need for separation in order for them not to tangle with one another.
Sweetie Pie says, yes, thank you. She loves the tips.
So now you can see the needle's going to clear the sequin. There's going to be one needle on one side and one needle on the other. This is when you have to be brave. I have you do some scary things. One thing I have you do is put pearls underneath the fabric. You can't see them. Sew with a double needle. And one needle goes on one side of one bead, and the other needle goes on the other side, and it actually rubs the beads. If you never try it, you don't know how cool it is. It's called inlaid beading. It's how you can sew pearls on a christening dress and not injure the infant because the pearls are hiding in the fabric. And if you ever want to put pearls on a quilt, then the pearls go into the batting instead of sticking up and hurting your knee when you kneel down on your quilt. So here I have a center needle position, and I'm bringing my needle down, and I can see that the needle's going to strike the sequin. So I move the trim by turning the nut, and as I turn that nut, it moves the guide, and the trim, well, it's along for the ride. It can't get away from the foot, which means you don't have to touch the trim, so you can position your hands where you need to. But before I begin, I'm going to go ahead and double check by lifting and making sure that it centers, and it doesn't, so I still need to move over. I haven't done this one in a long time, so I'm a little scared live. Are you guys scared for me? Close your eyes. All right. I haven't done a double needle in a long time.
Pearl
Does it
says
make you guys feel better? That I am scared too sometimes. I'm now going to not back up. I don't think I used proper grammar. I heard myself after I said it. I'm not going to back up because you shouldn't with a sequin like this. And that's why we start a little bit off the fabric, on the trim, but off the fabric. then your thread will not loosen up on you. Look, that's where you're going. I'm trying, I gotta stay on this side of the fold. Well, I could see a lot better if this wasn't in my way. Try this without our foot. Get it out of the way. Now you can watch. And I'm using a double needle, so I can't see the needle. And by the way, this fabric is actually 2 layers of the same fabric, fused wrong side to wrong side, using our Fuse and Fuse stabilizer. And this is the dragonfly. So if you go to our website, you're going to find out that all of our stabilizers have different animal characters. We have Stick and Tear, which is the one we make masks with. So if you want to make a mask and you want to actually block virus from going in, that's what this is for. And our masks were accepted at hospitals during the beginning of COVID. I'll be doing a mask soon. Another one, because I've already filmed a few. And this is our cover-up. This is trending right now. And this blocks the color of your fabric. These embroideries were done on the same t-shirt. There we go. They're both embroidered on a red shirt. And this is the right color of the fabric. I mean, of the thread. So Linus's face is flesh color and Lucy is all red because the thread couldn't block the red. So if you put our fabric cover underneath, and this is white, we have clear, we have 18 colors or 16 colors. Which one?
A lot.
16. They're right here on the front of the label. So this blocks the color of the fabric from showing through the thread. Yes, we do embroidery as well. Not just sewing and quilting. We cover it all.
Pearl says she always loves your videos. Thank you.
Thank you, Pearl.
And so many great tips.
It.
Tina says, is it comforting to know you get scared too? Oh, it is comforting.
It is. I know it is.
The letters are this big. I'm trying to read the letters this big on the thing.
That's okay. Wait till you're 10 years older.
Oh, my eyesight just started going a little bit. Can't
Okay.
read the fine print.
So I don't need to watch there, and I'm watching the front, making sure I stay on this side of the fold. Ignore the sewing machine needle. Ignore everything but the front of the foot. And sit with your elbows down on the table so you don't get sore. So if any of you get sore when you sew, it's because you're probably with your elbows. And that's true of Michelle when she types too. Elbows down, shoulders relaxed. That's my little chant. I say that every time I sew. Out loud, even if I'm alone. Elbows down, shoulders relaxed. And don't clench your teeth. And no squinting. So now you can see how perfectly flat everything lays. And I am on this side of the fold. So this will be the edge of the flap on the purse. And everyone's going to think it was very expensive, but it wasn't. And on the back side, because the 2 needles share 1 bobbin, it's kind of messy looking. But that's okay, because nobody can see it. It'll be beneath the other side of the flap. Blah, blah, blah. Sorry. I do that every once in a while. At shows, I talk 7 hours straight. And then I get tired of hearing me. And I go, oh, I just go on and on. I go blah, blah, blah. And take this double needle off. And grab the pack from the machine. And put it back. I took it off. I don't know what I did. I don't know why I did that. So I took it off the machine. I was not going to lie. See, it's no good to do that. That's why you do that. Oops. Don't break your sewing machine. I'm so sorry. Oh, by the way, while we're talking about this, this is a baby lock, and this has normally a clear surface to it, so that the light shines really bright, and it and it seems like a good idea. So if any of you have a wraparound light and you find yourself getting headaches, it's because of that. It is. I bet. So the reason you get a headache is because your eyes, when the light is shining at your eyes, the pupils want to close. And you're trying to see. So you're fighting the lens in your eye, or the iris in your eye. You're trying to let more light in, and it's going, no, there's too much light coming in. So if you take and paint your light cover thingy, and you can pop it off to do that, like this. Because I'm a sewing machine mechanic, so I'm comfortable taking things off my machine. Any of you getting nauseous? Look, she took it off. How's she going to get it back on? It pops right back on. So you can take this into another room with good air filtration and put nail polish on it and multiple coats, and then you can wash it with Windex and everything. And if you are nervous that you're not going to be able to sell your sewing machine afterward, you can order one of these later, or be kind to the next person and have it be on there and block all that light shining into your eye. So any of you ever feel fatigue on your eyes while you're sewing? See? Back on. Not all the way. It's so loud. I'm sorry. There we go. Ta-da! I'm losing it, you guys. This is me on no food. Don't tell my daughter.
She's probably watching.
My daughter is she's turning into my mother. You need to eat. Make sure you eat. Oh, she would really be mad at me because it's way late to not have eaten something. Okay, put your needle back in, and you can put a little dot on it with a Sharpie marker. See, I got all kinds of tricks. And this is number 1. I've used it once. And then put it back in your magic little box full of needles that you can show off to your friends. Oh, I got more needles than you got. I wish you guys could talk back, because I start to feel like I'm making too much noise. This is one of the really cool needles. No, it's not. It's a zipper. This one's really cool. It has a metal clasp on it, or whatever those are called, pulls. Notice my zipper is considerably bigger than the purse. Seems wasteful, and this would be, but I couldn't get this zipper smaller. And I would never buy the zipper the actual size that I need. Always buy it longer so that you can zip it closed and go da, 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 without having to worry about that. Have any of you not known that and are now going, oh my goodness, I could have sewn zippers without all that headache? Not all zippers sew this way. This is a process of sewing a zipper while it's closed onto a surface, and we're gonna sew it on like this, and we're gonna use the pearls and piping foot, and I am the inventor of that foot. Every sewing machine company copied me, and they did not violate my patent. What does that mean? They do not have the same foot. They have a look-alike. It's kind of like you're twins and you swap out and your boyfriend doesn't know. Sorry. I can't believe I used that as an analogy. It was fun. Hopefully you giggled. A little inappropriate. Okay. Pearls and piping also comes in its own package. And you can buy them as a set, by the way, as a basic special. And all the feet are in here. And all of the guides for the sequin and ribbon foot that make it bigger and smaller openings are in here. And all of the adapters to attach to the foot are in there. The only one that is not in here is a Bernina adapter. And that's something you get from Bernina or from our site. And not everyone needs one, that's why this is so noisy. We sell out of Bernina adapters, and so we are not sold out now though. So I end up getting my samples stolen. I don't have them. But there's a video showing you, and all of the instructions show you. I got dizzy. I'm getting dizzy from hearing myself. Don't say I'm a dizzy blonde. Okay. I heard you think it.
I was actually thinking because you can hear yourself double time. That's all. When you say it, when you hear it.
So now I'm going to put the thread through the needle, and I'm going to use my machine's needle threader. Thank God for needle threaders. And this one has a magic button you push. It feels like it anyway. Every time I would go, ta-da! And my son goes, you really need to stop doing that. It's embarrassing. Because he used to edit all my videos. He used to go, you say I go, no, I don't. I don't say Do I say you guys? I hope I never start saying again. That was a hard one to lose. Have you ever said something and wished you would not say it anymore? If you do, you can take a rubber band, which I should have in here, but may not.
Or bracelets that you can buy the bracelets.
The bracelets, yeah.
We have one. We used to have matching ones.
I usually have them on my wrist, but the camera focuses on them sometimes, so I stopped wearing any jewelry. But you wear your rubber band and just snap yourself anytime you do something that you don't like. And you can get rid of bad habits. So now I'm going to glue this to this. And because this is 2 layers of fabric fused together, this purse does not need lining because it is lining. So the right side and the wrong side are both the right side. And that's because I fused two wrong sides together. And if you fuse your wrong sides together and cross your grain, then there's no bias. It's really cool. You make napkins and placemats and different things that way. Pearls and packing foot, that's what I'm looking for. Where's mine? I tried to be organized.
Oh.
Yes, a lot of the sewing machine companies try to make it look like a template. But this one I designed for a woman who had severe rheumatoid arthritis. She was locked in like this position. She only could do this for about that far. And all the rest of her fingers were stuck. She couldn't move them. And that was because she was a bridal sewer, and she did hand sewing for a living. And I don't want to scare you guys, but if you are a hand sewer, you're at risk of having permanent damage to your hands if you don't open your hands often.
My piano teacher was like this.
So holding on to a teeny tiny object like thread for a long period of time, as you squish and push your fingers together, it starts to hurt. You get sore, fatigue. Your brain is sending you a signal saying, I'm going to fuse that joint, or I'm going to deform your hand so you don't have to use the tendons and the muscles to do that. So you need to take breaks and open up your fingers, move them around. Whenever I do shows, people always like stand up straight after I talk about something like that. They're like, oh my God, I should sit up straight, shoulders back. What's it like having me for a boss?
I've been on your shows, so it's been, I love watching and hearing, but most of the time,
well, you know what I'm talking about.
Right? No, I've known you since 2008, and worked for you on and off since then, and I've always loved who you are.
Oh, I didn't ask for that, but thank you.
I'm being serious.
I'm
being serious. No.
Thank you. Don't get me crying. Terry did that before.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Not allowed on video. All right. So as we go, I'm spreading out some glue. And remember, this is not really glue. It's water-soluble stabilizer in a bottle.
Can't see that.
And then you slide your finger gently across. You want to keep the glue on the surface. You don't want to push it into the fibers. And then you just take your other fabric and lay it over the top. And I should have done this before all that other talking. I'm thinking for a minute.
And you don't push hard, right? You just tap.
Yeah, I'm barely touching. You're like you're tickling someone. Tickle, tickle. God help me. These things I say. Hi, Pearl. Susan. Judith. I think that's Francine. I'm learning your email. All right, so you can see the little fraying there. That's because I ripped this off after already sewing it. Because I went live and didn't get to finish it.
Yeah, Judith says that she says she used to be a hand sewer, and what you said is true. I already have a thumb joint replacement.
Okay, I'm so sorry. I wish I could get this information to everybody so nobody hurts themselves. And this is me being lazy. I'm just going to leave that thread there because I don't want you to wait while I get it out of there. This is my pearls and piping foot. And without disclosing too much of why it works so well, it has a little washer on this bar that slides left and right. And it adjusts or moves your zipper over underneath your needle instead of you trying to move your needle over to your zipper. But it also allows you to sew all sizes of beads, beads and pearls, rhinestones. Give it a sample.
Brenda says hi from Kentucky.
Hi, Brenda. One of my most enjoyable trips was to Louisville.
That's where she's from. I just couldn't pronounce it right. Okay.
I gotta say it right. Louisville. It's Louisville, not Louisville.
I knew it wasn't Louisville. I knew it. I just didn't know how to say it. I forgot. Kentucky.
That's why when you come here and you say Prescott, you get harassed. Oh, you're not from around here because it's Prescott, like biscuit. But when I go to Louisville, Kentucky, I leave there talking like this. And when I go to Texas, well, it's even worse. All it takes me is about 15 minutes of hearing y'all talk, and I start talking like y'all. And then people go, "Where are you from?" And I go, "Arizona." And they go, "Oh, I thought you were from here." Because I don't know where I am anymore. I've traveled too much. Big bead. Same foot. Little bead. Same thing. And it's a regular standard zipper. And then you got invisible zipper, as I showed in the bridal purse I showed earlier. And these are trims on top. So on the edge or on top. 1 row, 2, 3, you can even do 4 on some machines. 4 rows of trims at once, all with that little foot. Isn't it awesome? And it all has to do with a secret I'm not going to talk about. Just know it works, and this is why you want mine, not a copycat.
Brenda says LOL, and she's impressionable too.
It's so easy to talk like somebody else when you hang around them enough. I'm thirsty. Do you have water? Sorry, you guys can probably hear that.
I'll go get something.
I got to take a sip.
You got one? Okay.
This is my water bottle, and it was just that color. But my friend Terry and I both bought them at the same time, so I made mine stand out from hers. And this is nail polish. Nail polish is great for things that you're going to throw in the washing machine, dishwasher, and stuff. And this is 24 ounces, and I have 2 bottles, and I fill them up, and I know I've had 48 ounces every time I go to the water machine. I need to drink more water. I hope you couldn't hear me swallow.
Sounds like we're having just fun today.
Oh my goodness. This is definitely a wild ride at Claire's today. So now I need to move my needle over. And I'm selecting a right needle position. Or you can move your needle position if you didn't know that your stitch width is your needle position when you're on a straight stitch. Now you can say that out loud right now, everybody at home. When you're using a straight stitch, your stitch width is your needle position. Say it again. If you say that 5 times, you won't forget. Now I'm going to sew a few stitches forward, a few stitches backward. And here's my hands. And I'm going to switch. No, I'm going to show you, but my hands are not touching. Michelle can confirm that, right? Hands up.
Hands are up.
My hands are up like I'm being arrested. Notice that the fabric moves with the zipper. Because the zipper is attached to the fabric. And I don't have to touch it because of the secret feature of my frozen piping. So you can't mess up your zippers unless you don't use my foot. Sorry. So a few stitches forward, a few stitches back. And then you just pop over, flip it around. I hope you guys are having fun. You guys got plans for Christmas? I hope I said this right. My brain, I'm a little bit off today. I have reasons. You don't want to know.
It's a happy day for Claire. It's a very happy day for Claire. She's in a great mood.
I did it wrong. I got to get off. Read the directions.
Focus.
Yes, that's why there's a pattern. And I should have watched my own video. Because I do have the full instructions on this on my YouTube channel. Do not do this. Okay. I put the wrong. This is the back. I put like that. So that will go under, and that goes this way. So that's what I did wrong. Now you know how to fix it.
They're probably loving that.
Oh yes, it's so fun to watch Claire mess up. It shows they're ridiculous. They're so mean. If I break a needle, it's like, oh yay! She broke a needle. Claire does break needles. Brats.
No one's commented yet, but I'm waiting to hear something or read something.
I'm being lazy and not gluing, but now I'm like doing this little peekaboo thing, which is not wise. Just don't do what I do. Okay. I hope you guys are having a good time. And if it's getting close to dinner, make sure you don't burn it. I had one lady burn her lasagna.
Is it Jean or Sean or Jean Sanders? She says at Susan Vetter, which is somebody else who's commenting. She says there are 2 types of the invisible thread. One you can iron over and one you can't. Also,
actually, that's not true. So
also one of them.
Michelle, let me just. I kind of know where she's going.
Okay.
So you've been told that there was a thread called Wonder Thread, and everyone was using it, and it was just awesome. And it's 100% nylon. It is what we carry. We just don't call it Wonder Thread because it's nylon thread, and it melts at 500 degrees. And polyester melts at 480. So I'm not going to say the thread company, but thread companies like me to like their thread because I have a big mouth that shows. I'm like, you need this, and I'll send everyone over to their booth, and they're really happy because I sell their thread for them for free. I'm a free employee. So when this thread company decided to come up with their own invisible thread line, they sent me a sample for me to test, and I immediately wrote back saying, no, don't use polyester. And the reason, and I'm not saying all polyester is bad, but the reason you don't want polyester monofilament, which is also called monopoly, is because it doesn't stretch. And we want our thread to stretch because our fabric stretches. Even non-stretch fabric will stretch. So this is less likely to break. And we were using it primarily for quilting, but I also use it for garments, for beads, sequins, rhinestones, chain, anytime you want to sew something on and you don't want any thread showing. And you can iron and shoot steam through at the cotton setting of your iron. And do your own test. That's how you find out if something is true. You do your own little science experiment. The nylon does not melt. It has to liquefy because it is a melted object that cooled that size. And that's how polyester is made as well. In fact, polyester and nylon were invented by the same chemists at DuPont the same year. And they're almost identical compounds, but one stretches and one does not. One melts cooler, polyester, and nylon melts higher, and you can look that up. You can use whatever search engine you want. DuPont, nylon thread history, or wait for my book called The Science of Sewing and Quilting that will come out at some point. I have a novel to finish first. It's my Christmas date to finish my novel.
And what about putting them in the dryer?
Haven't you ever bought pantyhose? Nylon pantyhose? Nylons? They were called memory yarn when they first came out because they stretched and came back. Because stockings used to bag at the ankle, and now I'm showing you how old I am. So when nylon pantyhose came out, you could put your pantyhose on and you could wear them all day, and they didn't bag at your ankle. And then you had to wash them, right? Hopefully. And then you threw them in the washing machine, and in a lingerie bag, they're less likely to tear or get runs. Then you can throw them in the dryer. You can. Haven't you? Have you? If you have not, you can. You absolutely can. And they might be so hot they burn your hand when you take them out. And then you go and you put them on, and they're, hey, still pantyhose. They still stretch.
I didn't know that. I think I used to hang my pantyhose. Oh.
Well, that's good. That's a good idea too. So now we have our zipper attached, and we make sure before we continue that we actually can open it. Hey, I did it right. And that's why you do it, so you don't ever have a bad surprise.
Tina says you're a hoot.
Oh, I'm definitely in rare form today. So.
And
2020 is finally taking control of me.
Susan Vetter says I'm enjoying watching your tips. And Pearl says you are so awesome, Claire.
Oh God.
And then Jean, I'm not sure how to pronounce your name, so I apologize. I would think it would Jean with a G. And says I always hand wash mine hung to dry. That's what I did too.
You can still do that. It'll last longer. And what else do I hand wash? My mask. I always hand wash my mask. Fine lingerie. So have you ever been told to wash your fabric before you sew? Of course you have. How many of you don't? Ha. Thumbs up if you're brave enough to show that you're naughty. So why should you wash your fabric before you use it? Number one, there's chemicals in it, especially cotton. Cotton has a lot of cancer-causing stuff on it. So you should wash your fabric to make it safer and to shrink it so that you don't have shrinkage after, because thread will not shrink at the same rate as your fabric. And I forgot where I was going with that. So now my zipper is highly functioning, and I'm going to sew. Oh, I'm going to get to the tight camera here. See you in the next time I come up. I got to eat soon.
Jean says, yes, it is Jean. It's just spelled with a J. And then Brenda says that her chat is frozen.
Oh, that has to do with your internet. It's your internet. Because we're still moving, right?
Yeah.
Anybody else see me frozen? Actually, no. It is frozen because I'm not touching. See? That's why I talk on the other camera, because it's boring if I just sit here and you just see my hands. So we're going to cut the zipper when we go to do the final sewing, which we're almost there. And if you can kind of lose your way as to where it is. So you're going to zip it almost all the way closed. And then go ahead and we're going to stitch across these teeth. Now, I normally say every 10 to 13 hours of non-stop sewing, a needle lasts. But if you're sewing over a bunch of zippers, it's not going to last as long. However, the eye of the needle is where it wears out first. The thread rubs against the eye of the needle up to 5 times before the thread is actually on your fabric. Yep. Interesting stuff. What am I doing? Oh, multiple zigzag. And this is the one I talked about for doing the couching. It's the same stitch that I used to sew the yarn down, and you can't see the stitch, even though I used a colored thread, because I used a stitch that goes stitch. Oh, that's bad. I knew it should be ready. There's never ready. This is a really good lesson for you guys. It's on my YouTube channel, and there's a pattern at creativefeet.com. I doubted myself. I wrote on something already. Okay. Let's see if you can see it. So the multiple zigzag goes zig, 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 zag, zag, zag. So that's what it'll look like in your sewing machine. 3 dots per zig and per zag instead of a zig, zag. So that's a standard zigzag. It looks like a repeating Z. Okay, if you have any questions, it's in the pattern. Free pattern. Information in the comments, and be sure to join our YouTube channel as well if you're a YouTuber. And go to create.clarerowley.com to join my free online school.
Jean
Notice
says
the fabric's not moving. That's because I have my stitch length at 0.
Jean says that she saw your sewing machine on Creative Living. Is that Cheryl Borden?
Not this one, but yes. This one came later. I'm probably going to start switching out my machines and let you guys see a variety of different machines. But yes, I really, really enjoy going on Cheryl Borden's show, Creative Living. Been on a lot of times. She's awesome. She just celebrated something.
What kind of paint do you use to paint your sewing machine?
I do have a DVD that's 2 hours long showing how to paint sewing machines. How to paint your sewing machine. That's the name of it. That's a good name for it.
She says it's beautiful.
So now we're going to thank you. I love this one. I actually have a video where I take you for a tour all the way around this machine. And here's where I oopsed. So I have a chance to sew that. And I want the same distance. And that's simply because I took this off after sewing it before. So I straight stitch, right needle position. And if I do exactly the same thing, then I'll get the stitch to go to exactly the same spot, unless I move the washer on the foot to the other side. Then I won't get my needle where I want it to go. So always double check. And what else can you do? Oh, if you don't have needle positions, I'm teaching way too long. Always one on. That's my double needle pack. I put it away.
Yes, you did.
Oh, I did what I should have done. If you take a double needle and a pair of wire cutters, which I usually have here, I do things with wires, I cut off one of these needles, and that you can get a variety of different needle spacings. So the distance the needles are from one another increases your
Give it a
needle
glare.
positions. If you cut the left side off, you're adding right needle positions. If you cut the left one, no, I said the same thing twice. If you got the right one, then you get a left needle position. So this is for those of you who don't have needle positions. If you bought 2 sets of these needles, you would have 8 different needle positions that you don't currently have. And that'll make it so you can sew in zippers and piping and a wide variety of different sizes of piping. So wait till you learn all I have to teach you about piping, which is also known as welting. Sorry, I'm getting boring here.
Tina says you need to make stickers for our machines.
Yeah, Baby Luck wanted me to actually do skins. But the sewing machines change, and you guys are scared of cats. I could just see you sticking stickers all over your machines. Not really. Okay, now let's sew this thing up. Almost done, but it needs its strap. And the strap is the same as what I did before. And this is when you definitely want to refer to the pattern, because I could definitely do this wrong. I have to take it apart again. So if we think about this, it's the outside of the purse. And we want this to come out from above the zipper, but not come into the outside of the purse. I'm seriously not pretending to be bad at this. This is just I have to think it through. I also have to like move it over sometimes. So it's gonna go on this side. See, that doesn't work either. Do any of you have trouble with that? And this is why you refer to the pattern, which is somewhere in here. And if I weren't starving, if I had a better boss who let me eat lunch.
We're both starving we're doing it together. I haven't eaten yet today either.
Something just popped up on my screen. Okay. So basically, I know someone is yelling right now at the screen, going, Claire, move it that way. No, you almost have it. It's got to be this way. But that way. There we go. That was hard. And then we want to have it protrude out, as before. And make sure that your strap isn't twisting as you do this. I'm pulling it out. And then I bring the other one over. Is there anyone going, she's doing it wrong? It's going to be wrong. Oh my goodness. This one's right. Oh boy, this is the worst I've ever been. And this is live. This is why live is so entertaining. Then when you know you have it right, you take your strap, gather it up. It's a good time to use one of our clips. These are bigger than the average clip. And they're also easier on your hands. So if you've ever used one of the clips and found it difficult to open, you'll love these. And they also have measurements on them. And we have some cubbies left, right?
Yes.
This is a great gift. So you can see it. This is a cubby. And it folds them or docks them. And I'll show it afterward again. But what's really neat about them is they have these 1/4 inch, they have different lines for seam allowances. So if you're putting binding on something, it helps you to glue it in place accurately. And also it doesn't push down against the binding. So when you glue it, it doesn't make it lift up. So all of that makes sense when you watch my How to Bind a Quilt video. If you don't know I have one, I do, in my YouTube channel. And it's from start to finish, how to bind your quilt. And you never have to touch a hand sewing needle. Not that I'm against hand sewing, but you know how I feel. It can hurt you if you do a lot of hand sewing. So we've gathered up our handle, our strap. And now we're going to close this up. And we're almost done. Goodness.
Did Brenda rebooted her computer? We haven't heard back from her, so I'm wondering if it worked or didn't work.
Yep.
Oh, she just responded. Now then, better.
So now you see inside. Everything's inside. And if I don't do something right now, after I sew all the way around, I will not have access to turning this right side up. So what I have to do is partially open the zipper so that I have enough space in there to turn it right side out afterward. Because we're going to go all the way around. See, it's not that bad assembly. I'm just taking forever because I can't stop talking. Oh my goodness. Okay, so where to start? Normally I never start on a corner, but I do on this, and I'm not going to use this foot or any regular foot because I want to make sure my seam allowance is always a 1/4 inch. And that's where we use the Satinedge Foot, the third.
Susan says, but you are making me feel better. Sometimes I have trouble figuring which direction to go.
Well, I'm so glad I can make you feel better.
And then Pearl, she says, oh wow, I bought some off of Amazon, which I'm guessing she's talking about the clips that I don't use because they are hard to open.
Yeah, I know which ones you're talking about. These are really hard and they hurt. It's like you're getting a workout. And they're smaller. So these are significantly bigger. And because of that, the spring doesn't have as much load on it. And that's why you can squeeze it easier. And they're called clips with a K. So don't be looking for a C. It's pouring outside. Yay, we're doing it.
Little late.
I'm so excited. The only thing that would be better is if it was snow.
I hope we have snow on Christmas Day. I've been asking God for that. I've been asking God.
Some white Christmases. My sister looks like she's getting a white Christmas. She lives in New Jersey. How many of you are going to have a white Christmas? Thumbs up. All right, Satinedge Foot. I've never had so much trouble switching my own feet because I don't know where to put my feet. I'm not in their normal spots. So I'm opening packages. And by the way, they're warranted for life, even if your dog chews it up. Which we did finally have 2 dogs chew it up last year. All those years, no one ever did. I think it was 2 years ago. Oops, sorry. Hi, everybody. I'm in here. I am making a complete mess. Do you guys wonder what happened to your sewing room every time you sew something? It was so neat and tidy. I swear, I was only in there 15 minutes. It looks like an explosion happened. It's definitely a messy hobby, passion, art form. What do you call it? Do you call it an art form? Do you call it... You also get educational specials where it comes with our book and video. And you can get it on a USB or the book printed in a video or it's a video no matter how you get it. But a video on a USB or a disc. This is one of my favorites. See how I closed it afterward? You do a snap. So this is when you need to do that. If you're going to put a snap on or a magnetic closure like this, this one is way too big for this. So you want to know how I know? This is one I made for a wedding, and I made it bigger. So you can just increase the size, and now you have a bigger purse. And in this one, I sewed in these little loopy things so that I can change out the handle with a metal fancy handle or strap. But I'll tell you what, this magnet is so strong. I can almost not open it. So it's way bigger than you need. So they call this one a 3/4 inch. So if they had a 1/4 inch, that would probably be adequate for these little things. And these are really nice if you know anyone that's in a hospital. They can keep all their stuff on their body, and it's soft. The softer the handle, the better. But do not use yarn. Because my friend Terry broke hers like the first day. I should have known better than to give her a yarn handle. So yarn handle. That's right. I can find it in here. No, I don't think there's any. I bet there's someone there going, oh, I could untangle that for her. If I could just reach through the TV. Okay. If you've ever broken yarn with your hand, then you know it's not a good handle option.
Susan says she saw the video, the binding video,
Actually,
and I'm
good.
ready to bind and quilt. We are making. Nice.
I made all these little pot holders, but I didn't use them for pot holders. This is my coasters in my living room. Figure you got a better chance of putting your cup on there and not having it spill if it's bigger, especially if you're Terry and she only has use of one hand. And then I backed them after I quilted. So quilted the top with a big piece of batting after piecing these. And so one was laying next to the other, and so the big batting on the bottom makes it a bigger object and makes it easier to do your quilting using the octi hoops.
Pearl's asking if these are on your website. And I'm thinking
Everything is on our website that I'm showing.
in videos are on the website as well. On YouTube.
Oh, my binding video is on my YouTube channel. They say this. They suggest doing this only if you have no string.
Oh, okay. So Jean says today is the first time she's ever watched y'all. Just found y'all.
Yeah.
Because you were live.
Yes, that's why we're going live, so we can find more.
Maybe you could braid the yarn.
Yes, you could braid the yarn to make it stronger. Absolutely. That would have been wise. And the yarn I chose was the softest one I had. Wine. I said wine. Do I want wine?
We want food.
I need food. This is the Christmas one I'm making.
I like that one.
Isn't this nice? This is dressy. Yeah, I was about to sew it wrong, I thought. And that's what made me stop filming it before. Oops, right there. So this has a metal casing, and I'm questioning whether or not I should do it. Because it might make me itchy on my neck. And I actually do want to wear this on Christmas. So.
Oh, okay. So Pearl's asking the clips that you were showing.
Yes, they are. They're under supplies, and you'll find my pressers under tools because it's a tool, and scissors are a tool, and the feet are all on their own. The octi hoops are under their own link as well. That was what I just popped out for a minute. I gotta not show you too much because I'll never get off this thing. I'll never eat again. It's 4. We've already gone 2 hours. I said it was gonna be 1 hour. Man, I really need to hire someone else. So the clips are called Clip It clips, and it's a K, K-L-I-P. And in there, there's options. And the options show you how to make, nope, they don't show you how to make anything. You can buy the cubby as well. I think right now, and this, remember, this is a live video, but this is the cubby. And it's a double decker. So you can store stuff in both sides. Here's one of the videos, Michelle. Did you need a video today?
No, I got one.
And it's all, these are magnetic, so it really locks in, and these are magnetic. It reminds me of Star Wars, and the spaceships come in to, what is that?
Docking.
Do you know what it's called? Let's see how geeky she is. I don't know what it's called.
On Star Wars? Wow.
Never mind.
That was a long time.
And they just, it takes it from you. You can see how it just goes.
That's aliens.
It's really good for if you have physical challenges with your hands. Very nice. Here's another type of clip I use. These are just little clothesline. They're made out of plastic. The wooden ones fall apart too easy. But these are great for times when you don't want so much clip. It's in a teeny tiny little space. And it's got good hold. And hold on to that needle if it wasn't slippery. Okay. Oh my goodness. I really am off today. I think I cut this wrong too. So I'm going to select a 1/4 inch seam allowance. And we do that with this foot using a measuring tape. And you take and place the measuring tape beneath the foot. And this is a bad camera angle. Left needle position. There's videos showing you this. And you lower your needle onto one of the lines on the measuring tape. If it's loud in here, it's because it's raining. Have you ever heard of rain on a red tin roof? Or is that it? Rain on a red tin roof. This is rain on a not red tin roof. This is what happens when in Arizona. I think it's a major thing. So needle down on a line, and then move the wire on the foot to the 1/4 inch mark. What wire is she talking about? This is the foot, and you see that wire right there? That's the magic. That's one of the things that makes this foot magic. Actually, this is the Satinedge Foot, but Bob, he's one of our fans inside of the Creative Feet group on Facebook. And he started calling this the magic foot anytime I posted. And it took. So people are calling this the magic foot now. They're actually calling up going, I heard you came out with a magic foot. No, it's the Satinedge Foot. But that's how people feel about it. If you want to have a perfect 1/4 inch seam allowance for like not just 5 minutes, but this one lady came in to our Facebook page and she goes, 20 minutes of perfect 1/4 inch seam allowances. And then about 2 hours later, she popped back in and she goes, 2 hours of perfect 1/4 inch seam allowances. 2 days later, 2 days of perfect 1/4 inch seam allowances. So yeah, they call it the magic foot, but it's Satinedge because I designed it to replace the need for a serger to do a satin stitch on the edge. And if I feel up to it,
Jean wants
right
to,
after this, I'll do a little bit.
Jean wants to know if you have the fabric on your website as well.
Well, I wish I had this fabric on my site. Sorry, I don't have fabric on my site yet. There's so many people selling fabric. What are you pointing to? My daughter's calling. I really should let certain people know when I go live. Usually I would answer her call because it's my daughter, right? How many of you agree your kids rate higher? By the way, I don't sew as well with a shoe on. It takes me so much longer to get my foot on the toe. Anybody else? How many of you sew with your toe? Big toe sewers, thumbs up. I know that I'm one of them.
My daughter can't drive with her shoe on.
She better learn how to drive the shoe on.
She takes it off.
In snow. So a few stitches forward, a few stitches back. And remember, this is your opportunity to lock that trim really, really tight in there. You want to go over this area a few times. and as well as the strap. And as you come up on the zipper, this is when you need to realize you need to be brave sometimes. You're going to sew over the teeth, and you should never close your eyes when you sew. But remember, I designed this for someone who's blind, so you push toward the foot, and you actually can close your eyes. Sometimes people go, I'm sewing over the zipper. Oh my God, is my needle going to break? It's nylon. It's a nylon zipper, so you're good to go. Now I'm coming up on the strap, and this is my chance to make sure the strap is straight, not just going at an angle right next to the zipper. But I think I put it on top of the zipper last time. I don't know. See, refer to the pattern. Don't just try to remember what we did. Go over it once, go back, come back over it again, then go back again. And I'm coming out at an angle, zigzagging kind of like with my movement. I'm really, really tacking that down because I dance. You dance with one of these around here and it gets caught on someone's arm. You want to make sure that strap is sturdy. Zoom, zoom. I'm sorry about how loud this is. And you can see here, oops, I made it the wrong size. I'm going to have to go down and cut. Follow the pattern and that won't happen. I just winged it the other day. And this gives me a good opportunity to talk about something else that I absolutely love. Go right here. I feel like all I'm doing is talking. Is that because all I do is talk? I feel like I'm the only one talking. And you all should be. I should really hear you in my ear, but all I hear is me in my ear. I don't hear you enough either. Are you getting tired? Michelle's getting tired, you guys. Are you?
I'm just hungry.
Just starving?
My stomach's over here making noises, and I'm like, I'm hoping it's not going to be a loud one.
So, under this mess is the Caterpillar light tablet. And if I only knew where the cord was, I could turn it on for you. I really am more organized than this. It has a clear mat that goes on top that lets you cut directly on it. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to use this. This is the Ultra, and we have 3 sizes. Anyway, I'm going to be doing an open boxing video of the premium one, which is a small one that has a battery charger. So you can take it, and if you lose your cord, oh, don't look, then you can still play with it. So you can sit on the couch and you can sketch and stuff and prepare appliques and things, watching movies with your feet up. I get an idea of how I like to look. So I am going to cut right on top of a light tablet. And that makes appliques so much easier. And paper piecing. And I do have a paper piecing video. Paper piecing, say that fast. That's like Susie sells seashells at the seashore. I need to eat lunch. So we'll take our ruler. Make that even. I follow the pattern, and then you can skip that step. So that's V cutting right on top of a light tablet. I know, it's amazing. This is your last chance to double check, make sure your zipper is open so that you can turn this right side out. And now that I've sewn this side, I'm actually going to open it a little more. Why not? Make it easier. And chop that off. Never use your finger as the thing to hold the fabric. Always use your little fingers. I'm almost done. We're gonna. I have an appointment at 5. I can't go long today. That's all right. Some of them are like going, how long is she gonna be gone? Make sure that's starting straight. Secure again. Oh.
Yeah, Pearl says she thinks she's seen you with one of those on your videos.
Yes, a lot of them. The paper piecing lesson that I teach is how to sew paper piecing without sewing through the paper. And I thought I had it out, but the sample. Oh, I do.
So Jean says, where do y'all live? It's 6 in the evening here for time for supper.
Arizona, Mountain Standard Time. Our time never changes. So sometimes we're 2 hours different than New York. Sometimes we're 3. Right now we're 2. Right now we're ahead of California. The rest of the year we're the same time. It's very confusing. So for those of you who don't want to change your clocks, it's hard when you don't change and everyone else does. So this is my paper piecing lesson. And this comes with a free pattern. And I teach you how to do it without sewing through the paper. Yeah. So your pattern lasts forever. Because I don't like wasting things. I'm at the last part of this video. So we're going to go with questions and answers, if anyone has any questions. And the giveaway today is the Sequins and Ribbon Foot and Accessory Guide Set. And I notify people within like 24 hours, 48 hours. It takes a while now that we have all the platforms. The conditions of winning is you had to share. If you're on Facebook, you have to share. And if you're on YouTube, you have had to like interact with the video. The more you interact, the more your name gets put in the hat.
Everyone's interacting with everybody. It's so cute. Brenda's the same time as Jean. Creative Grammy, it's 1:10, waiting for lunch. I wonder where that's at. Hawaii? Is that Hawaii? And then
So if we didn't have different time zones in the United States, we could all have dinner at the same time. I could do like coffee with Claire, and we could have morning zone. Or
I love your breakfasts.
I love cooking. Michelle has gotten lots of meals. Yes. Lucky that. All right. Here we go. So notice my posture. See how hard it is to sew with this foot? It's very hard. It's hard to stay awake. It's good to have TV on. This is one time when I, like I said, start on the corner. Most of the time I teach you to never start on the corner. I am loopy. Zoom, zoom. It's a race. Don't stop. So slow. I shouldn't do that because a lot of times people think, like quilting, they think you're supposed to floor it, and you shouldn't. You should go as slow as your brain needs you to. In fact, your eyesight is dependent on your brain. So if something moves too fast, your brain's going, I can't do that. And then you'll probably never try it again. So just remember you can take as long as you like to do anything. And if you have trouble cutting straight, it's probably because you cut like this instead of like this. So you're supposed to look down through the ruler. If you don't, you're not lining up with the line. So I think I gave you quite a few hints. And then you cut your corners a slight diagonal. And once again, don't use your fingers for that.
Okay, so Jean's asking, how do you notify everyone? And
I was really bad today. You are now, if you're a member of my group in Facebook, or if you subscribe to my channel on my YouTube channel, then you will be notified when I go live. I try to send out the notification at least an hour ahead, but know that every Thursday at 2, I go live. And we just committed to that. So I'm going to get better at notifying and reminding you all. But if you set yourself up for notifications, then and you turn on your notifications. So all right, let me finish turning this inside out. We'll go over that a little bit.
Yeah, she's a new one. She's never seen you before.
If you're new, if you don't know who I am, where have you been? No, I'm just kidding. My name's Clare Rowley, and I'm the inventor of the Creative Feet. I'm also the inventor of 88 different sewing techniques, and work with factories and been teaching for 37 years, almost 38, and I'm almost 58. I only have a few more days, or
a month and a half. No, month and.
I can't get that to turn, so I'm going to use my presser. I make these. Michelle knows how to make them too. These are our wooden pressers, and there's videos showing you how we make them. This is not just any wood. We take the wood and we put it in a vacuum chamber. I left a word out. That's kind of ugly. We drop it into a vacuum chamber filled with resin. And the resin pulls all the air out of the wood, and then it sucks the resin into the voids, and it sits there under pressure, on 27 pounds of pressure, for about 3 hours, so that there's no air left in the wood, and all of the areas that did have that air, which is vulnerable to expansion and tightening as temperature changes and moisture levels change. So it makes the wood stable. It's called stabilizing the wood. Then we take it and we put it in an oven and we cook it for about 2 to 3 hours. And that hardens it. And then I turn it on a lathe. Yeah, we get our goggles on, don't we, Michelle? We wear our masks. I'll be teaching this soon. This is my latest mask, but I don't want to put it on because it's clean. All right, so how do you follow me? First of all, if you see my face anywhere on the screen right now, click on it. And then subscribe if you're on YouTube. And then click on the bell. There's a little bell on the screen on the top right-hand side. Click on it, and then do all. And then you'll be notified of all videos. If you're on Facebook, my group is called Clare Rowley Creative Feet. And my name is spelled different than a lot of Claire's. C-L-A-R-E. And the last name R-O-W-L-E-Y. And then it's like a space Creative Feet. And then when you're in there, and if you are in there watching me now, and you're not getting notified, there are 3 dots on the screen. There are 3 dots, like right here. Click on the dots, and then you want to go to your settings and your notifications, and then you want to follow all, and make sure I'm at the top of your newsfeed. Then if you have push notifications set up, so if you're set up to where Facebook can send you an email or send you a text, then that's why you do that, so that your phone gets a text and goes, hey, Claire's going live in an hour. Get ready. Or you can write on your calendar every Thursday at 2 Mountain Standard Time. We go live. And this is the completed purse, except for we need to pick a closure. So whatever closure you want, you can use there's some really cool closures out there. I hope you enjoyed watching today. And I will add in the comments again how to join my free online school, which if you go to creativefeet.com, Creative Feet, no space, all one word. There's batting fuzz floating around. Creativefeet.com. And at the top, on the right, you'll see classes. Click on classes, and that's where you join my school. And it's free. It's a free online school. There will be things that I charge for in there, but you have access to me. Like, you're talking to your friend and you text your friend. If you text in there, I get a text. It's like having me on your friends list. But you can't wake me up. So don't worry, you can text me no matter where you are on the planet, no matter what time of day, and you will never wake me up by sending me a message. And then I answer you as fast as I can. So sometimes you're at 3 in the morning, but for me it's only 10. And if it pops up, I feel for you. I don't want you struggling, trying to figure something out at 3 in the morning.
Jean's asking, is it feet or feed?
Feet.
She's cute.
Creative feet. F is in Frank. E. T is in Tom. Or T is too long since I ate. CreativeFeet.com, and that is my company name. So I'm Clare Rowley, and my company is Creative Feet. And they're the only feet in the world that fit all sewing machines, as long as you have a zigzag stitch. And if you don't have a zigzag stitch, we fit a lot of those machines as well, except for you can't do everything if you don't have a zigzag. And if you have a featherweight, they fit you featherweight as well. But you cannot get a 1/4 inch seam allowance, because the 1/4 inch seam allowance it requires a left needle position, and you don't have needle position capability with a featherweight. But you can sew an 1/8 inch seam allowance with it, and you can stitch in the ditch like the wind with our foot. So it also does pin tucks, and you can use it for edge stitching around collars and top stitching around pockets, which are pretty much the same thing, but they're done in different applications. So until next week, love you all. Every time I do this, I'm not ready to click the button, so you're going to get another kiss. I hope you enjoyed the purse, and the free pattern is available both in my school, Create with Clare Rowley, and also inside of my Facebook page. And if you're on YouTube, there is a full video showing how to make this already. The pattern's already there. I will add it to YouTube as soon as I get a chance. So let me see if anyone asked a last minute question. It's nice having you with me today, Brandy, Candy, Jean, Susan, Pearl,
Brenda.
Francine. I don't know who are.
Sweet Pea.
Oh, Sweetie Pie?
Oh, yeah, Sweetie Pie. I'm sorry. I keep thinking Sweet Pea. And Brenda.
I will announce the winner as soon as I get a chance. Last time our winner was, I go, congratulations, you won. And she's like, did you send me this? It took a week to get her to let me give her it, because she couldn't believe she won. I guess she doesn't win very much. I don't know if she's watching today. And but we sent out her gift yesterday. It took longer than we thought. Oh, by the way, there's another gift video that came in.
Oh, okay.
Prize from when I went on craft.
The Wednesday.
Quilt Craft Sewing Festival, which I will probably go again on there. And next time my sound will be right, because I messed up the sound. So, because I didn't know I needed no microphone. Just these silly looking things in my ears. I can't wait not to hear myself again after I talk. This was hard. 2 hours of that. Aren't I a whiner? Such a whiner. Okay. If I missed your name, I didn't say your name, I'm just so grateful that you spent this time with me. And I hope to see you next Thursday. Until then, bye.